Hello and welcome to this short video on washing a folio, specifically removing glue and residue left behind from a hooked-on end paper between the first two and last two folios of this Bible. My name is Edward Kranz and we are at BOOKFORGE in historic Erie, Pennsylvania. I would like to take a moment to note that I am not a formally trained conservator, and some of what I am doing in this video would not fly in a conservation lab. What I am is a traditional hand bookbinder who performs various conservation and restoration work as needed in the process of restoring old books. I would like to quote fellow bookbinder and bibliochum Mark Cockrum. This is something that he has on damn near all of his posts. Quote, "Please note, there are other studios, binderies doing stuff, spelling and grammar. Please further note, the opinion of the author may change at any moment. This is due to having an open mind of sorts," unquote. Absolutely love this. What I'm getting at is that I'm very comfortable with my tools, touch, and abilities. I've had well over a decade of practice. Please feel free to comment and suggest methods and techniques below, but no, there are other studios, binderies doing stuff, spelling and grammar, etc. This video is not intended to be a lesson or a tutorial. It just happens to be what I was doing at the moment when the cameras were rolling. In the near future, I may do a program on paper repair and restoration for books, complete with proper tools, techniques, and methodologies. For today, enjoy this real-time process with commentary. As I mentioned before, I am washing this folio to remove glue and paper residue left by the end papers that were hooked between the folio sections. This is an irreversible treatment and has been carefully considered. Spot testing was done before treatment to ensure minimum impact to the paper. I am using an ambient to lukewarm bottled water that was distilled. It's also interesting to note that some conservatives choose to use tap water in their treatment. Presumably the chlorine, which usually is there to inhibit microorganisms, is assumed to have a mild bleaching action. We are not using that. There are other wetting agents, alcohols, enzymes, things like that, alkaline solutions. We're not using any of those. I'm just using straight water. The goal is not really to wash. I'm not trying to change the color of the paper. The goal is simply to lift that glue and dark residue paper from the folio itself. There will be a little bit of leaching into the tray. I think you can start seeing that now as I'm starting to lift this away. If you look at the peripherals of the paper, you'll start seeing a discoloration. It's no longer pure white. It's taking on that tone of the paper. There are several different types of supports for washing the paper. In this particular case, I am using a mylar sheet. I find that suits my purpose. There's woven materials and non-woven materials alike. I have to be very careful with what I'm doing here. The paper itself is definitely fragile, and being wet, it's even more so. Very little pressure is being applied. Where I'm needed, I use the sharp edge of the spatula to lift, and then I lift this material away gently as I can. There's a few areas of the paper that came a little thin. In a later part of this video, I will apply some Methelcelulose and Hanji to the spine area of the folio to reinforce it. I think from this point on, I'm just going to let you enjoy the music and watch what I'm doing. I don't know that there's really a reason to continue the commentary. If you have any questions, feel free to post in the comments or send me a direct message. All right, I hope you enjoy. Thank you very much. 'Cause I lead to the grave. You better run away, run, and fire your gun. 'Cause once I have you in my claws, I'm gonna bite out your heart. You won't bite out my heart. I'll be the one to liberate you from the danger cat, all the danger. So the hunt is on the hunt, and I'm 2 miles away. You and your brood just walk around in front of the cave. You better run away, run, and hide in the trees. 'Cause once I have you in my sight, I'll take a shot with ease. washing is complete. What you did not see off screen is I took the tray to a sink and I rinsed all the debris away, and I eventually, once I had everything cleaned, I dry blotted the paper so it is just damp. And now what you're watching me do is I tore a strip of Hanji paper and I'm pulling out the fibers, keeping it very uneven, but also keeping the fibers out there so it gives it a very irregular pattern. You definitely don't want a hard line. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to apply a layer of methylcellulose to the folio. Methylcellulose is a wonderful adhesive for paper repair. Once I have the spine area of the folio damp with the methylcellulose, I will apply the Hanji paper. If you look closely at the tray, you can see the mylar support that I use to move the paper around on. Now I am applying the Hanji paper very gently to the spine area of the folio where I had just applied the methylcellulose. Now I'm going to apply a little bit of methylcellulose over the Hanji paper to ensure that it's saturated all the way through. I'm going to use the brush to work it into the paper fibers and to ensure that the fibers of the methylcellulose that I spread out go out into the paper in a very irregular pattern. Now I'm going to move the Bible's folio to a blotter. I have some Rami down there to help it not adhere. I'm going to make sure everything's all smoothed out, and then I'm going to very gently peel that mylar off of the sheet, leaving just the folio on the Rami and the blotting paper. And as soon as that's done, I'll put another sheet. Oh, yeah, gotta be careful. Yeah, so once this is done, I will apply another sheet of Rami over the folio, and then I'll put a blotter on top of that, and then I will leave it under weight for a good 12 to 24 hours, letting it dry. In the middle of that process, I did change out the Rami and the blotting paper twice to ensure dryness of the folio. All right, so the Rami and the blotting paper are down. I just put a piece of plywood. I assure you that the face it's facing down is not rough. It's very clean, and here we are. It's under weight. Now, I had another section another folio that I had done earlier. So here we are. I'm taking a look. Everything looks smooth. The methylcellulose and the Hanji paper are almost invisible. So I'm going to trim these off and fold this folio back over. Now, made a mistake here. Not necessarily there. When I folded this folio, I should have had it with its full section, and I folded it and I probably put too hard of a crease into it. So I'll when I put this all back together again, I'll have to work that, make sure everything's nice and even and smooth. There we go. Nothing like a sharp scalpel. Like I said, I should not have done such a sharp crease on there, but it's too late. There it is. In the grand scheme of things, it will come out fine. All right, so hey, I want to take this opportunity to thank you for sitting through this 15-minute video. In the future, I do plan on making a more in-depth video on washing paper. Until then, thank you very much. This is Edward Kranz at BookForge. I hope you've enjoyed this short little video, and we will see you next time.